Alrighty, y'all. Auntie wanted to interrupt me. Auntie upstairs wanted to interrupt me by yakking up a lung, smoking crack, and listening to dubstep. But we prevail and we re-record. Today, I'm out here in the wilderness, and I want to talk to you guys about a little subject that I like to call life is compromise. So, a little background here. A lot of situations in my life I have been forced to accommodate, maybe abandon my own feelings for the greater good of the situation at hand. Maybe it's I feel one type of way, my friend feels another type of way, but I have to swallow my pride and, not be as strong-willed, if that makes any sense. Today's going to be a little bit more of a scripted video. Here's my cheat sheet I like to show you guys. It's called Life is Compromise. Wrote this up a day or two ago, and hopefully I can read it off the dome, no big deal, and we can get a little something accomplished today. To compromise is to come to an agreement by mutual concession. By definition, this is a multi-party action. But I am here to tell you that in your relations, in your workplaces, and very much so, especially in your solitude, life is all about compromise, y'all. A lot of people have the wrong idea of what compromise is, and their brains view it a little bit more like sacrifice. These are not the same. Sacrifices are one-sided compromises, and they harbor feelings of resentment and over-accommodation. Ever have a boss that just keeps asking more of you, or a relationship where your efforts are never enough? Those feelings of angst come from sacrifice and not compromise. With compromise, since you're coming to a mutual agreement, nobody should feel taken advantage of. Nobody should feel like there's a power imbalance, any of that. It should be an even agreement where both people, it's like you find a middle ground, right? You have one person over here, one person over here. You guys want two different things. So instead of trying to accommodate, you meet in the middle. There you go. In my own experience, the most common occurrence of compromise comes in my friendships and my relationships. I'd imagine it's probably similar for you, viewer. The most important aspect of this whole debacle is surrounding yourself with people who are willing to compromise. In my relations, feelings of a power imbalance and overstep boundaries almost always stemmed from one party's unwillingness. In forming relationships where willingness is present, those same feelings either subsided or never came to fruition. I'd imagine most viewers fall into that same category where you find yourself trying to surround yourself with more people who are willing to compromise. But if you don't find yourself in that category and you are the person unwilling to compromise, then my only suggestion would be to drop your ego and allow yourself to come to mutual agreements when your opinions are not the center of attention. Hate to be blunt, but that's just the case. Unfortunately, in some facets of our lives, compromise is not necessarily possible. In my experience, I've had a lot of situations with bosses who are unwilling to compromise. A lot of the times their egos and their own emotions get put first. And so if you feel a certain type of way, or even if you think protocol or steps to do something is wrong, even if you think there's a slight alteration that could be made to do something differently, a lot of the times what they'll do is they'll put themselves first. I recently just had my boss complaining to a customer very loudly about how all these Gen Z employees, all they want you to do is worry about their feelings and their emotions and this, that, and the other. And back in the day, employees' emotions didn't matter. Employees' feelings didn't matter. And I don't know. When I heard him say that, I just thought it was a little bit odd. Alongside that, there was some subtle workplace beef, and that led me towards self-accommodation rather than sacrifice in the workplace. In that situation, rather than trying to be friendly and trying to be outgoing towards my boss, I decided if he don't want to talk to me, I don't want to talk to him. I don't speak to him unless he speaks to me. It's easier that way because I made the compromise for myself. I don't have to stretch myself thin and try to be emotionally available for a person who is obviously I have no part of their best interest. Does that make any sense? I hope that makes sense. But guess what? Even though there's some parts of our lives where compromise is never possible, there is hope for us. Because there's actually a form of compromise that works 100% of the time. I call it solitary compromise. You know why it works? Because you only have to meet your needs. There aren't any external factors that are going to muddy the waters, because as long as you are in your own best interests, the work you put in and the results you get out will all be completed at your own doing and your own free will. So, if you're struggling, if you're going through a rough patch, if you have relations with people where your feelings and your boundaries are not being met or they're being overstepped by all means, then taking yourself out of this situation would be compromising for yourself, because you don't have to meet, like I said, you have that compromise line where you meet somebody in the middle. But guess what? If it's just you, it's just linear. It's linear. It only moves one way. So it's only progression, in my eyes at least. That's what this is. This journal, compromising for myself. I take time out of my day, and I take time that I could be spending in other people's best interests, and I put my own best interest first. I write to myself. I don't write to anybody else. I don't read for anybody else. I don't make videos for anybody else except myself, because I want to be able to get my spoken word out, if that makes any sense. In this day and age, it's really hard to make meaningful relationships with people who aren't looking at you as advantageous. Friendships are extremely transactional and surface level, and that problem is only heightened if someone sees you as more willing to sacrifice than they are to compromise. If any of this resonates with you, or you feel similarities between my words and your situations, my best advice would be to ABC your way out of that situation. If you can't do it permanently, temporarily always works. If you have an abusive relationship where you're accommodating the other person too much, if your relationship with your parents is strained, if your relationship with your bosses is strained, if you have a friend who's getting you to over-accommodate on their behalf, best idea would probably be to take yourself out of that situation for a little bit, even though it seems hard. It's going to be better for you in the long run no matter what, and I think it'll lead to more self-ascension, self-improvements, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's going to be better for you all over the place. Healthy relations with friends, family, romantic partners, roommates, even people you work on school projects with are almost entirely based on clear-cut boundaries and a mutual willingness to compromise. Without those, these relationships lack foundational structure and are usually destined for failure, unfortunately. If you're struggling to compromise, I tell you, take a deep look inside, ask yourself, why do you value your opinions more than other people who you share space with? Let go of your ego, and it's going to take you leaps and bounds. But, again, if you're not the one who's struggling to compromise and you surround yourself with people who are, then harsh reality is you got to find people who are willing to compromise. And otherwise, I think you taking yourself out of that situation, people always say that distance makes the heart grow fonder. And if those people truly care about you, maybe when they circle back, or you circle back to them, or you circle back to each other like a compromise, then they'll be a little bit more willing to do that. Find people who build you up and motivate you. And if you can't, then you're just going to have to do it yourself. And if you don't think you can just write in a journal. It'll probably help you. I have another video about that coming soon, about journaling. I have also another video that I'm going to be working on. I tried to fix my record player, but you'll see what happens. But yeah, I appreciate you folks sticking around and listening to me yap. Hope to see you again. Like and subscribe, comment, share. We're making this thing worldwide. No, I'm just kidding. I only have my own best interests in this, and I'm really totally content with any result. 1 new subscriber is totally fine. Take care of yourself. Have a great rest of your day. I appreciate you watching. Peace.